When was the first time you realized that you might have a mental or chemical imbalance?
Maybe like in 2003, 2004. Well, I got pregnant with quadruplets, 2 boys, 2 girls, and I had them. And after having them, I just noticed something different. Like first or second birthday, I started realizing like I just didn't really want to interact with them. I just wanted to lay in my bed, watch TV, and eat. I didn't really care how I looked or what I put on was just off. So I was like, let me go check on myself. So I went to the doctor and they gave me like this questionnaire and they deemed me to be depressed.
I currently work at TMH in their behavioral health center, specifically focusing with women and addressing postpartum depression. I see a lot of minority women, so that includes African American women, Asian women, a lot of Hispanic and Latino women, especially here in Tallahassee. A lot of them suffer from postpartum, and for one, they're not aware of it. So that's usually the first part. That's the initial struggle, because a lot of people are depressed, just generally speaking, and don't know it. They're functioning at high levels with anxiety, or they have functioning depression.
I don't know, sometimes when I feel depressed, I kind of get a lot of feelings, like the feeling of hopelessness, just really tired. I've had suicidal thoughts, sometime in my depression. I've felt like cutting myself, but instead of cutting myself, because I know that's not good, I shave off all my eyebrows. I mean, it just all depends on what kind of happens to like push me to that depressive point. I wanted to kill. I wanted to kill people at my job, and I wanted to kill myself. So I called the nurse, and she told me to go to TMH's ER, but I didn't know I was supposed to go behind to the psych center. So I kind of sat in the emergency room and just kind of cried on and off, on and off. But as I sat there, the feeling of killing kind of, like, it lessened or whatever. But I still felt like I just was hopeless. Wanted to just off myself. So when I went to the psych center, I saw this lady that I used to work with. And she was like, "Girl, what you doing in here? You know better than that." And I'm just looking at her like, what? So then she started talking to me and she was like, you got those beautiful 4 babies, your kids, you got to take care of yourself to be able to take care of your kids. Mm-hmm. So that kind of started me thinking about them, no matter how bad, the situations were or may have gotten in, I still got somebody that's dependent on me, my mm-hmm. kids. So that kind of helped me want to live. It's kind of up and down sometimes, but I always reflect back on my kids to give me that push. It's hard because at first I used to just get angry and want to physically harm her. So it's hard, but through counseling and just talking to a therapist and stuff, it helped me recognize when she's going into a crisis, when her ups, her downs, her lows, try to identify some of her triggers, and then constantly remind myself when she does have a moment that it's really not her, it's the mental illness that's working.
When you go through your episodes where like you feel your depression, you feel your anxiety, you feel your bipolar disorder, like how does it make you feel? Try to put into words what it makes you feel like.
Like outer space. When I'm by myself in my head. But I know physically it's people around me. It's people that can maybe feel what I'm feeling, but it's totally different in my head. Like everything is going on around me, centered around me. It's bad. Like it's a bad feeling.
But it was not easy in the beginning because I just, I didn't know much about it. It's different. I guess with different people, it's different levels or whatever. I just thought she was being an honorary teenager, just acting out. But the more I went through it with her, the more I learned about it. So it's easier now than it has been.
Well, consider the fact that we both have the same thing. It's like it was hard for her to understand her, and it was hard for her to understand me. So we would go back and forth and back and forth, and it was kind of like it made it hard on me because that's my mom. It's something I'm not supposed to do to her. It's something I'm not supposed to feel toward her, but that's how I was feeling. That's how it really was. So I'm just glad it got better.
How important do you think it is to have an early diagnosis of your mental health, and why?
It's very important because the earlier you figure out and find out what's going on, the better it is to get you on your meds and see what meds will kind of regulate you so you can per se be normal. So I mean, it's like the longer you wait, the worse the things can get, because sometimes people like really kill themselves because they wasn't properly diagnosed. So it's important, very important. Be patient. Be patient and find out about the illness. Like, don't just assume, like some people, oh, pray about it. God can fix anything. I've been told that so many times. Yeah, he can, but medicines are put there to regulate your chemical imbalance. So it takes time. Just be patient. Mental illness is real. It is real.